I want to share with you a very important idea this morning from Rav Chaim Vital from the Arizal. We know that there's three kavim, three paths. The first one is Chesed, kindness. The second one is Gevura, din and judgment. And the third one is Tiferes. So the Arizal says like this. He says that if you have a overabundance of Chesed, then that will create imbalance. There has to be, although we want as much chesed as possible to come down and to accept from Shemayim, but if there's too much chesed, it'll create an imbalance. And the same thing, kol shekain goes the other way. If there's too much din, then we can't take it. It's just going to be too hard. There's beauty on each side. Chesed is a beautiful thing, but too much chesed, Chazal called that znus, is called chesed. On the other hand, too much din, that can destroy the world. Who can stand in din? And my Rebbe, Rav Moshe Shapiro Zatzal, used to say, the city of stone, we hear these stories about the city of stone, people would come and they would get very harsh treatment. But said Rav Moshe Shapiro, Stone had a shita. It wasn't just that they were terrible people. It wasn't at all they were terrible people. They just believed that the world should run according to Midas Din, and everything was din. And every single thing that happened there was din. And when everything is din, then what results is stone. So the beauty, says the Arizal and other Kadmonim, is Tiferes. When you have exactly the right balance. Enough chesed, enough din. In our generation today, generally, the recommendation is a lot of chesed. A lot. Like as much as you can do and get away with, go with chesed. But at the same time, there has to be some din. I was saying, when I was in yeshiva, so my Rebbe, one of my Rebbes, Rebbeim, for 2 years, he called me an idiot every day. I would say something, he would say, "You idiot, that's so stupid." And one day, I said, "Rebbe, sometimes when you call me an idiot, I feel bad." So he takes my arm and he twists it. He said, "You idiot," he said. "You think if I didn't think you could become great, I would waste my time calling you an idiot?" And someone told him this story recently. He said, "You see, I was right." And those were the days. It was the cutoff point when a Rebbe in yeshiva could still give harsh din and get away with it. And I remember my first chabur they gave in Bava Metzia. I worked on it for 3 days, and I said it to the Rebbe and the chabur, and he said, "This is such garbage. Like I thought you could produce something quality. Listen, I have to be tormented to hear this garbage." And my first reaction was that I'm going to get some dynamite and blow up the yeshiva. That was my first reaction. My second reaction was, you know what? I'm going to try to write something else, and it's going to be much better. And that's what I did. And he said, "This is good. This is good." So he taught me, Chatzkel Weinfeld, that you have to be able to take it. If you really want to grow, you have to take it. And the Vilna Gaon says that the real beauty lies in din, right? The noyam of Olam Haba, he said, comes from the din. So you have to have some din in our life, and even today, when we're bringing up our children and ourselves, we have to have some din. We can't just let anything go, because then that's chesed, which the Torah refers to. Terrible averas are called chesed. But at the same time, there has to be synthesis. There has to be din. So let's all try to remember that, whatever we're doing, to maintain balance. And we say it every day in Kriya Shema. We say, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. It's all one. We see Hashem in Rachamim, in mercy, and we see Hashem in Din. And it's all one Mahalach. Hashem is the master. It's a bazoin for me to say those words. But Hashem is infinite greatness. He's able to combine these two together and create incredible beauty in this world. And this is really the point of these shirim, is that the chesed we can deal with. When things go great, it's a beautiful day, right? As my Rebbe, who was Yartzeit tonight, Rav Shlomo Brav Zatzal used to say, he gave a whole shir on the musical Oklahoma. Oklahoma. In case you're not familiar with Rodgers and Hammerstein, the main line in that musical was, oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. He said, when everything's going your way, it's a beautiful day. But what happens when things don't go your way? Then it's no longer a beautiful day. And this is not what the Jewish religion believes. When we see Hashem's hand openly, that's chesed. That's beautiful. But we see Hashem's din. That's also Hashem's hand. That's din. And we have to thank Hashem when things look bad, just like we thank Hashem when things look good. Kol ma David Rahman l'tov of it. And if we do that, if we create the synthesis, and we thank Hashem when it's good, and we thank Hashem when it's bad, we'll be living in Olam Haba. As Likutei Moharan says in Torah Gimel, he says, if you live your life constantly saying, Kol ma David Rahman l'tov of it, you're living in Olam Haba. As my Rebbe, Rav Rebbe, used to say from Rav Chatzkel Levenstein, he said when Rav Chatzkel Levenstein would say the word, he would say, Olam Haba. You could see that he was already there. And we'll be living there in Olam Haba. Because the bad things that happen to us, we'll really realize they're all really good, and it'll be a beautiful day, even when things are not going your way. Right? And the truth is, things will always go your way, because you say, Yesterday morning I was here at the Kosel, and I was supposed to give a shir yesterday at 12 p.m., and I had worked the whole day before. Not the whole day, I had worked many, many hours the day before, and I opened my computer, and it's gone. All the information didn't get saved. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I said, no, Kol ma David Rahman l'tov of it. I looked it over, I said, that was not good material to teach these young budding Talmidei Chachamim. I changed the topic of the shir, I got everything together, and Baruch Hashem went great. It went amazing. It was all good. Yeah. And my Mrs. Sarah Chava Mizrahi, who's edited many books and is one of the best editors in Klal Yisrael, she once told me, if you turn on your computer and it works, that's a miracle. That's a miracle. Mrs. Mizrahi told me that. So if it doesn't work, that's also a miracle. Kol, the Ramban says everything is nisim. So if you turn on your computer and all the work you did yesterday was erased, and you don't have internet, so you're not in the clouds, you're not in the ananim, so it's all May Hashem. May Hashem yotzei davar. We shouldn't get disturbed. So it's about Hashem. We should have a beautiful day, whether things are going your way, or things are not going your way. Just remember, it's always a beautiful day. And I got a beautiful feeling, because everything's not going my way, right? It could also be a beautiful feeling. And if we do that, we'll be living in Olam Haba, and we'll have the greatest simcha as possible to have in this world. As the Vilna Gaon says in Shir Hashem, we'll taste the true ni'imus of life, the beauty and the splendor, the tiferes, which is the synthesis of Chesed and Gevura, like we said from the Rizal. Too much Chesed, that's overkill. Too much Gevura, that's really overkill. We want to come to get the perfect balance and synthesis, and if we do that, life will be amazing. Amen. Kain Tirotza.